I was going to ask as well about when a scene develops. Does it hamper you if you're at the centre of it, as you were? Does it stop you developing? Because people are coming because they want a particular thing. Mm. Did you feel kind of constricted by it in a way? The thing that you created actually then
as an artist, yes, because at the same time, first we're talking about being just part of a scene, and we're talking about it from the standpoint of anyone being, any kid being, feeling part of a scene. And then when it's become my work, and that's what I do, then yes. So we've got some choices to make, haven't you, as an artist? You've either do the kind of David Bowie model, and you change and reinvent yourself continually, and you're always something new and something new hairstyle, new look, or you kind of do the same thing you've always done, and you kind of ride out the dips and the turns, and it comes back to you at some point in your fashion again, as Bill said. It comes back round again, and I've taken that route, mainly because that's that's all I know how to do. That's what I do. So I was lucky enough to be, I think, based in the north, which I know is something this was interested in. If it's different between the north and some of these towns Bill was describing, and I think it is different from what it's like in London, and how long things can last in the big city, which is normally much shorter than they can in the north quite often. But I was also lucky enough to have a base. It's still there. Back to Basics is 20 years old in November, so I've still got a musical base for me to play my music, and the kids have changed through it. I'm playing to, I am getting to the point where we say, well, what happens when an 18-year-old comes, and it's like someone's met at Basics, and it's happened. It happened on the 18th birthday. An 18-year-old came up to me in the booth. You're never going to believe this. We met at Basics. This is our son. He's now at Basics. It's like, oh my god. But anyway, so we have kind of, I've kind of ridden that out. Maybe I think that is definitely one of the reasons I am based in Leeds, and I don't think that would have lasted in London. So, and as an artist, you can very much get blueprinted and pigeonholed into a genre, and then you spend your whole time fighting out of that, doing interviews or saying, I'm not that, I'm not this, and it's like, yeah, he is, whatever. So that, to answer your question, I think as an artist, yes, you can.
Yeah. Do you feel that, because you obviously you closed the electric chair down and moved on to something else, is that partly why you did that, because you felt...
Yeah, we definitely it reached a point where we sort of it had its day really. It was time to move on, and we just sort of wanted to try and take that spirit, what we loved in doing, and take it somewhere else, above and beyond just four walls and a low ceiling, and into the sunshine a bit. So that was the reason we started Electric Elephant Festival. But minus our situation, you come to a point when it's. It sounds depressing, but it's like a relationship. You're still in love with that person, but it's either move house or you get divorced, and it's one of them. It's had its time. It's tired, and I think for us, we came to that point where we felt the club, before it loses the magic as we saw it anyway. We just thought, well, let's kill it while it's right and move on. But yeah, inevitably, things do change. The scene we're talking about now anyway, compared to 20 years, it's almost gone back to what it was in 1985 again. Most gigs that I do now, 200 people who love their music, or aficionados who follow it religiously, as opposed to the scenes around Ibiza and the bigger, more commercial clubs, which is quite separate from what we do now, really. So in many ways, it's come full circle. We've gone back to that thing, where I think. I know for most of us, to earn a living out of it anyway is a tough one anyway. So it's got to be for the love, or you would have moved on. For the guys, the sort of the Premiership guys at the top are earning £40,000-50,000 for some of the big gigs. It's a fundamentally different thing. That those scenes have almost split now completely. So I think what we all do really. You are talking about an average gig of, I think your thing maybe a bigger, but, certainly what we do, it's gone smaller. So I think we reached a point where, 1,000 capacity club, we could just feel it. It was coming to its end, and so we just sort of put it to rest, really.
Well, did you feel restricted by it in the end yourself? Did you
well,
feel
yeah.
you were just sort of doing the same stuff over and over
I think,
again?
one of the dangers of, things become like velvet handcuffs, that you become comfortable within it, and you can get it, and it's great. You turn up every month, the best people you ever meet. It's great. There's after-hour parties. It's a great thing, but that thing becomes so comfortable that in a way it does restrict you. So I think things do become velvet handcuffs, and without sounding too pompous, I mean, that was one of the reasons we stopped it, because we just felt we're going to just further dig ourselves into this situation, which we can't get out of. So I think, yeah, I think that's inevitable. I think it's inevitable in anything, really, you know. I mean, the Rolling Stones can continue it forever, I'm sure, and they don't really care, but I think in many things, I think it's good when things stop. I don't think they should carry on.
I think you were touching on something which was, I think, really, really important in specifically house music. That we've mentioned it, but it was a really, I mean, I really see that as where things split, and it was a fundamental thing was the super club thing. Because as you said, we've started to see, and we've traced how that started, and it has got quite big at this stage, and people are making money, then it's your job, and then, you know, you do start to make these decisions, and we very consciously said at Back to Basics, you know, no to the decisions to go down the super club route, the merchandising, the CDs, the tours, and Cream, Ministry of Sound, two biggest ones I can think of at the top of my head. Gatecrasher absolutely personified the super club thing. We said, no, this is global. We're going to do this, you know, on this huge level. And you have people like James Palumbo coming in at the Ministry of Sound, who are businessmen first and foremost, nothing to do with the scene whatsoever, and who managed to create a huge brand out of what was a small scene. And I think one of the reasons why we've sort of lasted a little while is because not financially, but just because we were still very much a part of that scene and felt part of it, and didn't take that super club route. So we didn't kind of get the backlash you can get in a scene where with the sellout, it's the sellout thing, isn't it? You guys are sold out, you're not cool anymore. And we didn't take that route. And we kind of, and Luke didn't either, he decided to quit. There's different ways of opting out at that point. And the super club things, I think, really killed house music and dance music very well. They killed it off. In 2000, the cool style press, your IDs, your faces that were still there at the time, just said dance music is shit. It is dead. You are cheesy. Here is the new cool, and you got indie, and you got this whole new wave of cool bands coming through. And we suddenly we weren't cool anymore. And we're back in the underground, and we're I don't in a way, but I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it again more because I'm more excited by the underground. I like weirder, slightly more subversive things than I do. I find it more exciting. And then back again, we found raves, warehouse parties, and the scene started again, but by different people with different enthusiasm. And just for my last point, what was interesting, using the word secret, is that the biggest brand in club music then became Secret Sundays, which uses it in the title even, which was doing one-off events around London in the same tradition as the 1988 ones.
And I think, but ironically, there is a very, you know, a British obsession. People kind of like the failure as well, you know. I think you look at the whole heritage and culture around Thatcher Eccles and Tony Wilson, which unfortunately now has become almost a bit like the way the Beatles is done in Liverpool. It's become a sort of everything it wasn't. But ultimately, it was a failure. You know, they lost money. The club never worked. But I think there is a kind of a British love of a kind of identity with that and empathy with that. Whereas when Ministry Sound, suddenly there was men in sneakers on with suits in clubs. Everything had changed. It felt different. And you know, you talk about a multi-million-dollar, pound business, whatever, and that fundamentally changed. It had to. There has to be a, you know, money has to be the fundamental thing that's going to eventually split it, which is the same in politics, in art, whatever, in any movement. And then, as we talked about again, inevitably people, you know, in many ways, rock and roll has reacted against house music, dance music. You know, dance music for a 16-year-old. If you know, the Radio and Road Show, whatever, Pete Tong, the whole thing has just become this, you know, the opposite of what it started out as. So, yeah, that's another angle.